Hey guys, I'm Shubhangi and I'm a content marketer at iZooto, and this is our sixth virtual office hours. And today is also April Fool's Day. So do tell me if you came across any pranks, but like we actually did because Pravya Praveen, who's our product, she's a marketer, she couldn't resist. So she called
It's
up people,
April Fool's Day, guys. I mean, come
yeah,
on.
of course. I mean, she called up people, told them, "Oh my God, people are trying to call you and everything." And then like, three people called me and they were like, "We're trying to reach out to you. What happened? Are you okay?" I'm like, "Dude, everything's fine." So yeah,
The
all that
same thing
happened.
happened with me.
Yeah.
Pravya told Zebin, okay, so Neha is trying to call you from so long, dude, call her right now. He called me, he was like,
I did this to a lot of people, yeah.
Yeah.
nothing.
Yes.
What's wrong with you? Dude, that's
Oh,
bad.
right, yeah.
Yeah. So okay, I think nothing happened with Vivek. He was spared.
No, no, no. I'm going as, yeah. Uh, I have peacocks in the background, right, guys? You know, I don't need pranks right now.
So coming to the
Yeah,
like agenda, like what conversation we're going to have today, it is going to be what is content marketing versus marketing your content. So today in the panel we have everybody from the marketing team. We have Vivek Khandelwal, who's the founder at iZooto, and he does everything marketing. We have Neha. She's
Hey
a product
guys.
marketer. Yes. And then we have Prabha. She's a product
Hi,
marketer.
guys.
Yes, so today is also the eighth day of lockdown, if I'm not wrong. And so getting started, Vivek, do tell me, like what what do you mean when you say content marketing, and how at iZooto, things have been happening.
right. So I remember me and Trevor have spoken about this a lot of times, right? That how content marketing is, how what people understand as content marketing,
Yeah,
and so content marketing is two words. There is content and there's marketing, right?
yeah,
The first part is, by the way, very exhaustive, right? Creating, producing, churning high quality content is a superbly exhaustive process. It's a superbly tiring process, right? Most importantly, because it's also a very creative process, right? You you just can't slip, push in random stuff and think it'll fly through, right? I remember, in fact, this is a quote that I share a lot of times. This comes from Avinash Kaushik, who writes an amazing newsletter called TMAI, right? The
oh,
Marketing Analytics Intersection. And Avinash says a very beautiful point, right? He says, Jesus is great. He says, Krishna is great. He says, Allah is great. Uh, Moses is great. Pick up
uh,
any god of any
yeah,
religion. Every god is great.
yeah,
Now, if your content is saying the exact same thing, it does not add value. Right?
yeah,
You need to go beyond saying that your God is great.
yeah, yeah, it's true.
Right? So, so this is exactly what this is a big problem, right? And this is exactly what makes producing great quality content uh, a big barrier in the
Mm,
process, right? You just do not stumble into, you just don't start creating great content, one fine day, right? It's a hard process, right? And this is something, and I think we at ISO have done this part decently well, right? Probably as a living testament of that fact, right? Probably and Neha both actually, right? And while we did the first part decently well, right, we got so exhausted in doing that part that we literally forgot about the marketing part,
yeah,
right? I think we did this mistake. We were in this zone for almost about a year and a half or 2 years, where we just kept on producing content. We just kept on. We were just so laser focused on producing, creating, writing great content that we had no idea that, hey, this content will not go out there automatically to its audience. It needs to be
yeah,
distributed, right?
true.
Which is when we said, okay, it is time to focus on the marketing part of content marketing, right? And hence, so a lot of people
Yeah.
stop themselves at content in
Mm,
content marketing,
mm,
right? It is literally time to flip that and say marketing content,
Yeah.
right? For example, the way I would want to ideally introduce you in my life is Shubhangi does marketing of our content,
Yeah.
right? Rather than Shubhangi is a content marketer, right? Because in my head, I'm scared of going back to those old days, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's me. That's what I, and this is why I'm now, in fact, all of us are now so obsessed about thinking the marketing part as much as we think about the content part. Yeah.
So, Pravya, tell me,
Yep.
Vivek talked about the whole marketing content. So, what do you think, what is it that people are actually doing versus what is it that they are wanting to do, when it comes to
Right.
marketing of content and content marketing, both of these?
Right. Like Vivek said, when I first joined, we started writing content as if there's no tomorrow. And right, and currently we have such a huge repository of content. And
Yeah,
one fine day we realized what is the use of such good content being on the blog or the website if people do not know it exists.
true.
And then hit us hard. Like, what do we do now? We have not promoted this. And then we gradually moved on to, let's say, we started promoting it on Twitter, started promoting it on LinkedIn. But again, right, I used to write content, and then this was a one-time effort. I used to do it once, and that's pretty much it. But that does not suffice. Everyone in the team needs to promote it, and then
True.
this needs to be a task altogether, not just you write content and you do it once and it's done. And we're thankful that you're here, Shivangi. Off our shoulders, right? But yeah, this is a common misconception for a lot of people, right? People think writing content and doing a distribution bit just once is enough.
Yeah,
And hardly, like most of people, I'm pretty sure most of the marketers have faced this. When they say content marketing, it's content, what they say, or they mean.
yeah.
No one's doing the distribution bit.
Okay.
So yeah, I think marketers definitely need to double on the distribution bit and then
Yeah.
actually focus on creating new content.
Neha,
Yeah.
what do you think? You've been here for like a year.
Right.
Plus. Yeah.
Yes. What?
It's almost 1.5 now. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
1.5. I'm
Right.
sorry, my bad.
Okay. Right. So I think just the way Vivek and Pravya mentioned, providing the value in your content is extremely important. But along with that, distributing that properly, making sure the value reaches your target audience
Mhm.
is equally critical, is equally important nowadays. And especially when we know that, so there's been a study conducted by Sparks 2, and it was found that 50% of the search queries now result in 0 clicks. What this means is when you search something on Google,
Yeah.
50% of the search results, 50% of the users, they land on the search results that are owned by Google
Okay.
and not the publishers creating the content, providing the value. So when I know the content is the king, but then distribution is the queen. You're not supposed to forget that.
Right.
That's true. That's true. That's very true. Okay, then while creating content, what is the first part? What is the first port of call when you're creating content? From where you tell me.
While creating content, let's say what we currently do right now at iZooto is we brainstorm on topics, we search with Venkat coming in, we have keywords, the volumes, everything in hand. And then we write a structure so that we have an idea in mind what would go inside the article.
Yeah.
Though it changes while we write the article, but initially we have a solid idea what would go. And then we discuss the structure and then the article, we start writing the article.
Yeah.
But when we come to the distribution bit, when the entire thing is done, when you come to the distribution bit, everyone needs to understand that your entire team, not just your marketing team, the entire team needs to be involved, which
Hmm.
means that everyone needs to be informed that you're writing this article or this article is out there right now.
Yeah.
The entire team needs to make efforts to put it out there. That's the first step that everyone should do. Imagine a team of 70 odd people. If you get 70 odd likes or shares,
Hey, that's true. Yeah.
right? So it's already out there. The connections know, this content piece exists. So
Yeah.
according to me, that would be definitely the first step.
So Vivek, would you agree to this?
I do. I so into this, right? Though, again, right? So, to sort of answer your question very specifically, right? The first port of call for any piece of content, right, remains to get the highest intent audience for that piece of content on the content itself, right?
Mm.
Which essentially always and always and always will remain Google and SEO, right? Now, obviously, depending upon how old is your website, the age of the domain, depending upon the quality of content that you've written, right? Depending
Yeah.
upon multiple factors, the black box that Google search algorithm is, right? You might start ranking for those keywords immediately. You might start ranking for them in weeks, in months. Depends completely on the black box called Google, right? But that does not change, right? You still do not want to put out not SEO optimized content out there on the internet. Right? You do want to ensure that uh, while it will take its own sweet time to get in text, to be identified by Google, to be ranked uh, against your competing links in that search results, that does remain the first port of call, of course, right? Again, it'll give you results in long term, of course, right? But yes, and this is exactly what sort of this is exactly why the research bit, which Prabha mentioned, is extremely important. That you're sort of prioritizing your efforts, right, on the right things, on the right keywords, on the right focus points, right? Hey, we also have
Yeah.
Kalyan with us. Hey, Kalyan.
Hey, sorry, I don't know if this is an iZooto thing. I saw
No,
your
this
link.
is not an iZooto thing, but yes, it's everyone's thing. Hey guys.
Hi, Kalyan. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
We're good.
Very good.
Right. In fact, Kalyan does some very interesting things with marketing. Right. He's always brainstorming and trying out new things. So we'll also pick up his brains as we go along in this. Right. So
Hey,
yeah.
sorry, just a quick thing.
Sure.
Sorry to interrupt, but I will be dropping off in 15 minutes. I have a call at 8. I just wanted
okay.
to listen in and see if there's anything that's that I can contribute to.
Oh yeah, awesome. Sure. 15 minutes should be fine. Shumangi
Yeah.
will throw something at you.
Yeah.
Soon enough.
So why don't
Awesome.
why don't we talk to Kalyan?
Yeah, while he's there, let's make
He has
hay
15
while he's
minutes.
there.
So do that. Like we were talking about creating content and marketing. So when you guys are creating your content, what is your first port of call? Like we talked at iZooto, our first port of call is researching SEO and everything. What is your first port of call?
I'm not sure if I understood the question, but if you're saying like why are we creating content, is that
No,
what you're
what is the
saying?
first step? Like
What is the first step? Okay.
yeah.
So as far as we are concerned, actually we hardly get any leads from SEO and all of that. Most of our leads come from outbound. So for me, this whole marketing exercise is more of brand building and making sure we're being heard everywhere, so that when our SDRs call them, etc., they would have heard of Almabase and therefore have a higher chance of conversion.
Right. Yeah. So again, this is a very important point as well, right? Depending upon your objective, depending upon your audience, right? You need to decide your port of call. Right? For example, we rely heavily on being discovered through Google, which is why our first port of call remains SEO and Google search, right? For Kalyan, their first port of call remains being brand building, which is to build real solid assets that the SDR team can use while they're engaging with their prospects, right? Building assets which amplify their social visibility, not necessarily search engine visibility, which is completely fine, right? Every business is unique, right? So yeah, this sort of works really well.
Okay.
Awesome.
So yeah. So tell me, the first port of call is done. Okay. Then
Correct.
what follows after that? What does that process looks like?
So at least in our case, what we now started doing is because you've sort of already identified a bunch of places where, and again, so because SEO takes a lot of time, we now have to sort of hit hard on very specific places where our audience is hanging out, right? What has worked really well for us is communities in the past, right? And it's obviously something which you can't scale exponentially, but it works incredibly beautifully because you get the capability because you're able to install or register your brand's name in somebody's mind very, very comfortably, right? I've seen this happening now, you know, at least 3 or 4 times, right? The 3 or 4 communities where I'm personally active, right? We have literally generated pipeline level impact, right? From those posts, from those interactions, right? And it totally sort of helps you accomplish both the objectives, right? One of brand building, right, and second of actual real demand gen and real revenue dollars as well, right? Kalyan, how does that work for you guys? What do you guys do once content is done and ready with you guys?
Yeah, so that's something that we need to actually figure out, because so far what we've only been doing a few things. One is whenever I do LinkedIn videos, we obviously one of the things that I'm doing that I think is working well is I have my VA who's actually connecting with 20 people in the advancement industry every single day from my account, right? So that's constantly building my audience, relevant audience. So whenever I post something on LinkedIn now, I see more people from the relevant industry sort of engaging with it. So that's the LinkedIn part of it. We have a monthly newsletter which goes to about 10,000 people in our industry, where we, every month we pick one theme. 1 month it could be giving days, 1 month it could be about alumni events, one month it could be something else, and then we create 4 pieces of content for each newsletter. 2 of them are case studies of how a couple of schools are successfully sort of implementing something, and then 2 are just like blog posts, like Gyan, right? So our distribution right now is primarily only those 2 things, right? So we're not really doing anything beyond that. So that was something that I was hoping I could learn from this conversation as well, in terms of what you guys are doing.
Right. Yeah. So in fact, Shivangi, you do quite a bit of stuff, right? So where do you hang out generally with your with our content? Yeah.
Yeah, so we basically do a lot of engagement, so I mean, it's not just
basically. So
we have a checklist, and it's not just that we just focus on the marketing team doing everything. We like to involve everybody. Like, everybody means everybody from the company should be out there, should be talking about us, should be talking about their team. So we have Twitter, we use Twitter, we use LinkedIn, and then we have Instagram also, where we don't put a lot of official stuff, but yeah, it's just there that we are there, and there's a lot of engagement there also. So and then we have growth hackers, we have Upekha, we put stuff on Upekha also sometimes. That is how. So yeah, it's a long process. It's a lot of things. It's a huge checklist.
Right. I remember. So what I sort of add to that is one is Quora, right? Quora has been a consistent line item in our distribution list for quite some time now, right? And again, right, this is very, very specific to us, right? This might not be the place where, let's say, advancement managers are sort of hanging out, but I recently met someone who did a very interesting way of researching for potential Quora questions which are relevant to that industry, right? He would go into Google and search for Quora, inside Quora, and then put their brand keyword, let's say, fundraising from alumni, right? And then he'll figure out what are those top questions which are being shown up in Google, because those questions are the ones which are getting maximum visibility in Google and from Google, right? And again, right, what does not change is every website, right? Be it Quora, be it growth hackers, their key source of traffic, right, is search. Search is where most of the traffic comes from, right? Once they sort of identify these questions, what they then do is they go out there and start not only answering them, but also writing answer wikis for those questions. They also go out there and then start putting small ad snippets right below those questions to sort of bring them to literally invest dollars in content marketing, right, and get those potential leaders to their website, right? So that's something which has been which I've seen, which has worked really well for a bunch of folks, right? Something which we also have on our radar as well. Yeah.
And one very important thing, videos. This is my favorite part.
Right.
This is my favorite. Like, you can convert content into videos like crazy. Like, I don't think so there's any piece of content that you cannot convert in a video. And video has, like, videos, people would love watching videos as what I feel, as what I've seen, that video would attract more people as compared to text. This is
So
my personal opinion. I
repurposing
don't know.
works really well for us. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't know about.
Okay.
I would love to hear what Neha and Pravya have to say on this. Yeah,
No,
Where do you guys
yeah,
distribute video? Sorry,
it's every
is it
so
just social media or?
So for videos, can go anywhere. You know, we put them out on YouTube. You can check our YouTube channel also. And then if it's a part of a newsletter or in an email or LinkedIn or Twitter, so yeah, YouTube's can like even Quora. You know, Quora you can embed a video in Quora also. So yeah,
In fact, Kalyan, something we started trying out very recently is, for example, a recording of this conversation will actually go on YouTube, will
yeah,
go on VideoCan, and then
yes,
will eventually land on our page for SEO, right? Because VideoCan is magical for SEO, of course, right? So that's something which we have just started trying, just started doing now, and I think yeah, it'll be an incredible thing. Yeah, right. But then
Interesting. Okay.
I think Pravya can sort of add, throw some more thing on, throw some more
yeah.
light on the whole repurposing bit, right? As in, how do you sort of convert one piece of content into multiple smaller pieces of content, and then sort of use that for promotion? Pravya, what's up?
Right. So we have been doing this for quite some time now. So a piece of content can go to a lot of places. To start with, let's just say, like Shubhangi just explained it. It could be a YouTube video. You could convert a piece into slides and put up on
Yeah,
slideshow. You can convert a piece into, you can repurpose it on any other website, but this is a bit tricky. Not a lot of people actually are into adding the same piece to their blog, but worth a try. Definitely you can do a link exchange, not an exchange per se, but you can try and make sure that your link is on their website. um, Other than that, of course, all the social media platforms you can, let's say Medium, for example,
yeah,
right? The entire piece of content can go on Medium. In the last, probably you could add a hook saying if you want to read the entire article, you can come to the website as well. So yeah, these are the few things top of my mind right now.
great,
So, for instance, Neha just published a case study, right?
right.
Neha, how do you plan to repurpose that case study?
So we did something really interesting with this case study. This time we converted the headlines of the case study into a deck. So it's a
yeah,
very short, very quick. I mean, it didn't require a lot of efforts. It was like hardly 20, 25 minutes task. We had 7, 8 slides combined together, and there was a proper sales asset, you can call it, proper sales asset ready to ship out. Right.
So yeah,
And yeah,
because
of course, apart from that, we're going to repurpose it on growth hackers and LinkedIn. We probably would be creating some videos, and yeah,
yeah,
the general checklist that we follow. Yeah.
right. So for example, today Neha and I did a video which was for a feature which we were launching. Now
Right.
that the script of that video becomes feed for our email campaign, it becomes feed for our social outreach, right? It automatically becomes copy for our landing page also, right? It
Right.
also becomes a script that our customer support and customer success team can very easily refer to while they're trying to upsell that specific feature to a specific prospect as well in future, right? So the whole repurpose. So to put an insane amount of effort the first time when the content is being created, right, and then just spin it off into multiple smaller pieces, right? So that you don't have to think all over again for a completely new angle every single time, right? For example, Neha's slides was literally nothing but the headlines of the case study. The case study was, if there was a table of contents of the case study, the slides are literally, just the H2 or H3 of that document, right? And boom, right? An asset which will go on LinkedIn, on a sales guy's LinkedIn profile. So LinkedIn profile, you can obviously upload a lot of documents and stuff, right? It goes up there. It just helps them become more visible, if not anything else. Yeah.
That is super interesting.
But again, right, your industry is very different. So yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Yes, Neha wants to say something.
Right. So saying this interchanging between the script, I mean, converting the script into the email and the email into the script. This is incredibly, so what happens is with email, we try to we try to keep the language of the email very conversational.
Mm.
The way we speak, we try to write the email in a very similar manner. And that's exactly how the scripts look like. So literally, today I recorded a video and that was nothing but the email that I sent out to the customers. Right. It's pretty easy.
Okay. And all said and done, do tell me what are your favorite, like favorite channels of distribution?
Like Kalyan does LinkedIn a lot actually. He
Yeah,
does a very
please.
good job
Yes,
on LinkedIn actually.
I've seen his
Only
videos.
LinkedIn.
I've seen his video. Yeah,
Yeah.
Only
I've seen
LinkedIn.
his video.
Kalyan
That
does
was an easy
videos
choice for me.
he does videos from Times Square and then from his desk, exactly where he's sitting right now, most likely.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then from his balcony in the Kalyan office. Yeah, he goes places. Yeah, he goes places. My favorite remains communities because I'm able to truly influence individuals. Right, doesn't scale a lot, of course, right? But serious dollars, serious dollars coming from there.
Pravya?
I would go with LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, the beauty is, I agree that video content get a lot of views. But if you actually see, even the text content, if they do not have
Yeah.
a link in them, they actually get a lot of views. It actually, it makes people interact for some reason. That's
Yes,
what
true.
I see. So LinkedIn, I would definitely say LinkedIn.
Yeah, there's a plus one from me too for that. So yeah, LinkedIn works really, really great, especially because our target audience hangs out there the most, and then we get to engage. I mean, there's been a lot of instances when we posted something in the text format only, and the customers over there, the prospects over there, were trying to engage with us. So yeah, for engagement, I think LinkedIn works the best, especially for the digital media and the publishers. LinkedIn should be the go-to platform.
Great. Great. So, yeah, Vivek, you have anything to add? You just took a breath and I thought you were going to say something.
No, man. In fact, in a question for Kalyan. Kalyan, from a sales enablement point of view, right? What kind of content, like, how do you approach your content building process? Like, how do you approach that process? There's a good assets.
Yeah, again, like I think our sales process looks very much like an enterprise style. We have like a few decks that we keep using all the time. We are actually this whole sort of venturing into content on LinkedIn and like our newsletters and all of that is hardly. We probably started this about 6 months ago. Fresh, like zero idea how to do any of this. And we've actually not done, I mean, what you guys were talking about as a repurposing exercise, right? Like how can you repurpose the same content in different ways? Is actually getting me thinking in terms of our sales process, because we've hardly used any of our content in our sales process, right? It's the same standard decks that we're using. I think we should do a better job of that. Like, I mean, there's a lot of content that we create that's actually useful, that's being posted in one channel, and then we forget about it, right? So I think we should actually do a better job of repurposing that.
In fact, what we also, and this is simply because off the record, sales folks are lazy. Right? Sales folks will never go back to that Slack channel and hunt for that thread, right? Because again, right, all of us are lazy, right? Honestly speaking. So what we also now started doing is we are also started to put down literally email templates and upload them on HubSpot and keep it easily accessible for them. Here is the email template that you can send out to nurture your customer in this situation, in a different situation, and so on and so forth, right? So because again, right, email writing is another art which people don't want to master all over again from scratch, right? If somebody has already done that for you once, you might as well just sort of create a template, keep it handy there, so that people can just recall email, right? Top of the mind email. So bumping up the inbox email, if it has a piece of content, it just becomes so much more valuable rather than just saying, hi, bumping this up your inbox one more time, two more time, three more time. Right. Hey, Ganesh, no worries. Thank you so much. I hope this was of value for you. Right. Yeah. Thanks.
Yes, actually, I kept quiet because, this is a new field for me, as Kalyan said. we are more of enterprise sales, hands-on. People go there and do it. I wanted to see how do we start, and this is like a lot of great points that I can take up, and especially liked your point of repurposing the content and using it in many channels. LinkedIn being one of the great channel is happening in our case also. So sure, I will practice this and come back, and if possible, I'll go through the entire video later on. I have to
Okay.
drop out now. Thank you.
Thanks a
Thank you
lot.
Sure thing, man.
guys. Thanks
See
a
you.
lot.
Bye-bye.
Same,
Bye, Girish.
same here as well. Bye.
Thanks, Ilya. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Kalyan.
Kalyan.
Bye-bye.
Good.
So yeah, I think I guess I've left.
Even Divya has dropped off now. And
Yeah, Prerit.
and Preet actually shows up diligently here, but he remains on mute. Preet, why don't you unmute yourself today and just chat with us?
Yeah.
Unplugged.
Hey, Prerit.
You have Bluetooth headphones.
You have?
Bluetooth headphones.
Yeah.
I really want Bluetooth headphones. I think I spend at least 15 minutes every day to untangle my earphones. I'm so bored that I count that also. But yes, Preet, how was the conversation? What do you think?
It was amazing. I mean, as Girish mentioned, a lot of good points to start off with, and I think certain points which Shubhangi, Pravya, and all of you, all of you mentioned, were like crisp of marketing. And the best part was that while you were creating content, you forgot that you have to do marketing. So that was something wherein I think you realized that it at the right time that there's something else in the world as well.
Great.
Right.
I think we've reached the end of the conversation now.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I think we covered a lot of points. We covered creation, then we covered importance, and then the distribution part, the repurposing. This piece of content has a lot of content in it, honestly. So great. It was great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys, for today.